In 2000, the dot-com bubble burst and Amazon's stock price collapsed by 93% in a single year. To the public and Wall Street, Jeff Bezos' company had become a punchline, a bookstore that burned $3 billion without ever turning a profit. This chart shows the reality of the retail landscape at the turn of the millennium. While Amazon incurred a $1.4 billion loss, Walmart was generating over $5 billion in profit on $168 billion in revenue. Investors focused on the stock price, but the real danger lived in the company's code. Amazon's internal departments were siloed, yet completely dependent on the same fragile data points. Marketing, checkout, and tax teams all ran independent programs that pulled raw data directly from one central spreadsheet. This single file, maintained by the books team, was the shaky foundation for the entire company. To fix a rounding error where $9.99 was miscalculated as $10, they followed a standard engineering practice, stopping the use of decimals and storing prices in cents. The books team fixed their internal bug, but they accidentally broke the rest of the company. Because every other department was scraping the raw data, a $10 book was suddenly marketed, sold, and taxed as if it cost $1,000. These errors happened hundreds of times. Amazon was paralyzed. If one team couldn't improve their own workflow without crashing the entire business, the company would eventually buckle under the weight of its own growth. In 2002, Jeff Bezos issued a radical ultimatum to his engineering teams, now known as the Bezos API mandate. He permanently banned teams from reading each other's spreadsheets or databases directly. Direct access to another department's data was now a fireable offense. Every team was forced to build a service window, or an API. If the marketing team needed a book price, they had to submit a formal request to the window and wait for the books team to return a clean, verified answer. This new modular system decoupled Amazon's software. By isolating every department, Bezos ensured that teams could update and innovate their own systems independently, without risking a company-wide collapse. The mandate soon moved beyond retail data, reaching the teams managing Amazon's storage, computing, and database hardware. Engineers no longer had to buy physical servers to test an idea. They could simply order computing power or storage from an internal API, turning rigid hardware into a digital service that was available on demand. Jeff Bezos added one final unusual clause. Every one of these internal service windows had to be built to a standard where a complete stranger outside the company could use it. Two engineers, Chris Pinkham and Benjamin Black, realized the implications. If Amazon's internal teams were already renting computing power through an API, the company could sell that same interface to every developer on the internet. By building their internal infrastructure for strangers, they had turned a technical necessity into a rentable public utility. This architectural shift was the birth of Amazon Web Services. In 2005, starting a tech company required a fortune. Founders had to buy physical servers, rent air-conditioned rooms, and hire administrators just to get an app online. AWS removed this physical barrier. A developer could log in, enter a credit card, and instantly access thousands of servers in a remote data center for a small hourly fee. This diagram shows infinite scale. When an app went viral, a founder could click to instantly allocate 1,000 servers to handle the spike. When the rush ended, they could scale down to 10 servers and only pay for what they used. This liquid infrastructure allowed small startups like Airbnb to grow into giants. In 2008, Netflix began moving its entire streaming catalog to AWS, trading its own fragile data centers for Amazon's scalable cloud. While Microsoft and IBM ignored the idea of a bookstore renting servers, Amazon grew the business in secret for 9 years, reinvesting every dollar back into the platform. In 2015, Amazon finally revealed the numbers. AWS was generating $1.5 billion in revenue per quarter, proving it was the most profitable cloud business on Earth. Today, AWS generates $46 billion in annual profit. That is $17 billion more than Walmart's global retail empire makes in the same period. The man who was once a dot-com punchline became the wealthiest person on the planet, all because of an engineering fix to a spreadsheet error. AWS shows that world-altering results often come from architectural modularity. By building a system where every tool was an independent, rentable experiment, Amazon turned its internal bottlenecks into a trillion-dollar empire.